Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr., and the Wizards snapped their three-game slide with an overtime win against the Detroit Pistons, 119 and 116. Before we get into what turned out to be a far more exciting game than most had hoped and or anticipated, quick word from our folks over at Oohs and Ahs. Yeah, Ray, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. All right. Try our catfish dinner, served fried, grilled, or blackened. $19.95 with two sides, $15.95 a la carte. Get over to oozandahs.com to see the menu, hours, and more. Order from Georgia Avenue today. All right, Ray, I can't even get my words together because I'm trying to find the right way. I'm happy you're talking first, I guess. It's the best thing I can say. So your thoughts on Washington needing the extra period, despite being up in control late in this one?
That was that was embarrassing. You're playing basically the worst team in the league at this point. They're still professionals. I know you gotta, bring it every night, no matter what. But even with all that said, this is a team on a 9-game losing streak. They're young. It shouldn't have gotten to this point. That first half was abysmal. They sent them to the line repeatedly. They gave up 60 points, and they really couldn't get anything consistent on offense. I mean, I'm at a loss for words, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I don't know how you come out and have that type of performance. This should be a game where you kind of get your legs back up under you. The early foul trouble kind of made the rotation a little funky. Gafford getting hurt didn't help. Luckily, he was able to come back, and he did have an impact on the game. But yeah, overall, it just wasn't good basketball. The second half they cleaned it up a little bit, but they kind of got a little more active on the boards. They closed the gap at the free throw line. Was able to get some second chance points, but they got to figure this thing out, man, on both ends. On defense, they still looking lost. They still don't look like a unit. On offense, it just seems like they've forgotten what was working for them early in the season. A lot of possessions end with ill-advised threes. I think it was in the first quarter when they had 2 straight possessions with pull-up threes in transition. Like, you're not that team, man. Like, you gotta value every possession and get points, especially since you can't seem to stop anybody. So yeah, man, I don't know. Thankfully they got the win. I probably would have ignored your invite if they lost, but yeah, man, thank God for Kuz. Like, he came with it late in the game, and took it home for him. But yeah, this is it's a win. I'll take it, but this ain't one to be proud of.
Yeah, I think that's the nicest way to say it. It's definitely not one to be proud of. You kind of covered all the things in the first half that were kind of alarming, but late in the game, even despite being up 13 and what have you, it shouldn't have got to extra. We should not have gotten any free basketball tonight. When Brad steps in, I don't know what he chose to do to go back court. It can't happen. That can't happen at all. There's so many different things that can happen there. That's not one of them. They're going to try to get the ball out your hand. You're not a rookie. You've been in this league. You knew what was coming. It's not the first time you played against a Dwayne Casey coach team. I didn't understand what he was trying to do. Even a tie-up may have been better than what ended up happening. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny, just honest. Like, it was really bad. But like you said, big shot from Kuz late. Bill did get going, but all of it again, like there was no reason to be in this place against this team. Like they had the number one pick for a reason. They're in the midst of a 10-game losing streak, but they were in the midst of a 9-game slide when you guys lined up tonight. And again, you got a big game on Saturday. You head out west, and it's not exactly fun out there right now. It's definitely not fun in the East. Like you said, I guess they got out to a little bit of a better start than they have as of late. But man, Pistons going on 14-2 runs, a 12-1 run by the Detroit Pistons late in the game. Unacceptable. Just again with the decisions late. I don't know how Coach West is doing it. Like, it's just nuts because, again, it's not a super young team. You don't got a bunch of kids out there. We didn't see Cade doing stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I still don't understand how they got the overtime. Like, I watched it. I saw it. Like, but I can't – you understand what I'm saying? I can't fully process how you get the overtime. Like, in my mind, no matter what happened, I'm like, all right, you go into the free throw line. Or you had a timeout still. You ice the game, everyone goes away happy, and it's cool. And instead, it ended up being free basketball, and Kuz having to hit a huge shot late. Some guys that I felt like definitely contributed to this one. Denny Avdia and Raul Neto were huge in this one. What they brought, I even like the energy that Anthony Gill brought to the table. I know it doesn't necessarily show in the box score, but yeah, man, but it's still tough for me watching 5 scores in double figures from the Pistons. And Sadiq Bey wasn't one of them. Killian Hayes wasn't one. Josh Jackson wasn't one. Frank Jackson went for 19. I'm not knocking Frank Jackson. He's a professional. But again, Frank Jackson went for 19. 5 of 7 from 3. Again, the Wizards started the year out defending the 3 well, and during the slide, we've seen them get away from doing it. I know some people during the game were just like, "Oh, the Pistons are hitting anything." That could be some of it, but again, Ray, what's the whole thing you were talking about with young teams and confidence?
They don't know no better. Like, you can't let them get going.
And that's the tough part. There was no reason to even be in this situation. That said, we're not gonna stay in this place for too long at all. Because again, I still can't wrap my mind out of how they just. I still don't get how we got the overtime. But all right, for you, Ray, question player or players of the game, depending on what you got going on. Whatever for yourself.
I went Kyle Kuzma. He stepped up late, made plays on both ends, and of course made the dagger at the end of the game. I don't even want to think about where they would have ended up without him tonight, because he was crucial down the stretch.
All right, yeah. I had I'm not gonna lie. So heading into what I thought was the end of regulation, I had Beal / Kuz. That's what I had. When we got the overtime, the cursor just kind of stayed there for a little bit, right? As we got to the end of overtime, I removed somebody's name. So Kuz was huge in this one, went back home, acted a fool, and they needed every bit of it. Big shots, 16 in the end in the second half in overtime, or I think in the fourth in overtime, just period, big shots. They needed every one of them. So I go with you for X Factor. I guess I'll share mine first. I think I'm gonna take a page out your book. You said the others the other night. So for me, I kind of went with a three-way credit to Gaff was huge tonight. Protecting the rim, like you mentioned, the minutes without him when we thought he was hurt, not so fun. And he did a great job of protecting the basket because Cade was getting downhill whenever he felt like it. So were other players. And then Denny Avdia and Raul Neto. Again, box score. It's not like they had 20 each, but that 20, the combined 20 off the bench, the playmaking, the defense, the energy that they brought. Again, it was all hands on deck. And as disgusting as it is to say, that's what was needed against the Detroit Pistons tonight. But who do you have as X factor?
Yeah, I'm actually leaning in the same direction. Those three guys kind of stick out as it's just what they contributed tonight. What like you mentioned with Gav, for him, that stretch when he was out the game, excuse me, it was tough sledding out there, man, because their perimeter defense we know what that's been looking like, and with no blanket behind them, it was an open season. So when he was able to come back into the game, the difference was clear. It showed in the third quarter they were able to to win that quarter convincingly, and kept their scoring down for the rest of the game. And Denny and Neto making hustle plays. Denny with a quick scoring burst, early before he got in foul trouble. Yeah, those three guys just brought things to the game that were sorely needed, and we're definitely lacking from the other players.
Nah, for sure. All right, so as always, you guys know what time it is. We're going to get to your comments a little bit. I know you guys were already in here. Shout out to Maya. I think she was the first one I got in here to start getting the little banners together to type out the stats, and had a comment in here waiting off the early 9:41. She felt like she could get this off her chest already. This meltdown started with the 3-point break shooting last 4 to 5 minutes. Arrogant and sloppy. Ray, this all you.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do this. They were up at that point. They were up 13, and I think the next 3 or 4 shots were threes, and they weren't even good threes. And like if you're getting them, like you always say, Wilson, if you're getting them in the flow and they're good, clean looks, have at it, man. But these one pass and the shot goes up, shooting contested threes, like you're up 13 with a few minutes left. Be methodical and just put the game away. Like I don't understand, man, and it nearly cost me.
Yeah, I got you one better. Outside of being methodical, be the veteran team that you should be and put a game away. This should not be a foreign concept. We appreciate the love. All right, this is from Omer, and I hope I'm not pronouncing your name wrong, and I'm not going to take a shot at the last name. It's fair to us both. The second they benched Denny, they just lose. They won, but they were. I guess he's saying they were up plus 14 with them on the court.
I mean, yeah, like we both had him as part of the X Factor crew tonight. He was he brings a lot when he's on the floor, especially defensively, and we know they need all the help they can get on that end. So I mean I'm really not a huge plus minus dude, because that number can be deceiving at times, but things do look a little different when he's not out there.
Yeah, I just doubled down. That's the exact reason why I think both Ray and I's X factors were kind of similar. The minutes from Denny and Raul today were, they impacted the game. You felt them, and then you felt when they weren't in there as well. So Omer doubling down on this in the second unit is better. I won't go that far, but there's more energy and life to them. I will say that there's a higher sense of urgency with the second unit. That's as far as I go. I won't say that they're necessarily better. This road trip going to be a hard awakening. They're going to get their behinds with this play.
Highly likely.
Look, you said it. I don't have a rebuttal, so only time will tell. But before the road trip, they got Utah coming into Capital One on Sunday, and this effort tonight, don't come out here and get OKC. That's not the type of effort. Like, you can't come out on Saturday night with this effort. From Anthony Tony, and again, appreciate you as well, sir. I'm the only one that was rooting for Washington to lose after this terrible performance with a bailout by Kuz. I have no rooting interest, but again, it speaks volumes. That's all I got to say. Put it on the screen. People could take it how they want to take it, but I have no rooting interest, sir. Right?
Yeah, ditto.
Maya going back to they thought it was a done deal with 45 minutes left. Yeah. And again, that is the shocking part of it to me. Again, why it's been 20, 30 minutes. I still can't wrap my mind on how veterans, on how people won a championship on this roster, that putting a game away is a foreign concept. It's a little troubling for me, but eventually I'll wrap my head around it, or I won't. We'll see what happens. Bonding in the comments, gotta love it. They for sure deserve to lose. It's just bad basketball. It was tonight. It definitely was tonight, and I don't think anybody's gonna tell you guys that you're wrong. Trez disappeared, not a good sign. Ray, you had this one.
I wouldn't say he disappeared, but for what he brings, energy, hustle, and rebounding, if you're the only player on the floor doing that against 5 players on the other team that are doing it, the likelihood of you being as impactful is going to diminish. And I honestly think he's starting to get a little frustrated because of that. It was one play he was going up for offensive rebound, and he's surrounded by everybody on the Pistons team, and none of his teammates anywhere to be found. He comes up and he's just kind of like, what the hell is going on? Y'all got to get in here and help me. So that's not a good sign. But yeah, it's tough for him because what he brings to a team, to a game it's complementary of other things that should be happening on the floor. Like, he's not going to score a lot of points. He's not going to do all the flashy stuff. That's what other guys are there for. He's going to do the grimy things. But again, if you're the only person even given a sliver of effort, he's basically out there getting jumped, a lot of the time. So yeah, I don't I wouldn't say he's disappeared, but he's fighting an uphill battle.
I would say the other thing too is, like, and not to be corny or cliche, but like people that are always, when the team has to rely on folks that always provide energy, like, everyone's human. Sometimes some people aren't gonna have it. Like, it needs to be somebody else as well. Like, if he's the guy that always has to bring energy for everybody else, what happens on the days he needs to pick me up? Like, somebody else got to too. Kudos to Gil. Oh man, Anthony, Tony, y'all not playing today. Spence had another triple single again. All I got to say about Spence that bothered me in this one was just like his reluctance at times to get downhill is just, it's maddening at times. That, and like, for me personally, he and Beal sometimes, like, they'll start to push the pace and then the ball gets to them and things slow down again. And I'm kind of like, why are you slowing down? But that's all I got on Spence thing. Maya, in response, Spence took a baby step forward, though. Still a couple bad defensive plays. You guys are being kind. All right. I think Wes Unseld Jr. 70-30 defense offense and training camp is biting us in the rear. This team's off on offense, and they claim they haven't covered everything yet. Yeah, see, I'm not giving that as an excuse at all. Like, in this era's NBA, everybody's a scorer. I hear that all the time. I could care less. They need to. They started the season playing defense, and all the bad stuff happened because that end of the floor stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, you know what is a great cure to offenses that may be struggling or bogged down? Stops. You get in transition. Transition equal easy buckets. Easy buckets sometimes lead to you getting in rhythm. It keeps coming back to the same thing. If anything, I'm upset that maybe it was only 70-30 because maybe he let them off easy. Because look, man, you had the worst team in basketball go on multiple double-digit runs. There's no excuse for this. And yes, I get their pros, but they've lost 9 games in a row for a reason.
Right. Exactly.
That's all I'm trying to say. Like that's all I'm trying to say. So, like, the bottom line is, and then the other thing, you guys talk about the road trip, talk about Utah up next. Like, man, they better find it on that end of the floor. If you don't, all right, play with that if you want to. Yeah. Anthony, Tony, I have a strong feeling that Tommy's working them phones on the low.
I mean, even if he is, nobody's going to trade for players playing like this. So I think that's that's the part of the equation people miss a lot of times when talking about trades and things. Like if you got a bunch of people that aren't performing, then other teams have to actually want them to trade for them. So yeah,
And
everybody's stock is going down at this point.
and yeah, that's the other thing. I'll double down on that. Not only that, but you got to think about if someone's not playing well, not only does it devalue their stock to a degree, it affects what you can get in return. Because honestly, like, what I would have paid for player X during the first 3 games of the season, I refuse to pay after the last 10 games. Like the price went down, So that's just me. But I think most of it, man, and it sucks. Like they need to thug their way through this. Rui and TB will be back at some point in time, and they will be roughing their way into the lineup. And some things will help, but yeah. I'm sure Tommy. I'm sure a lot of GMs around the league are doing a lot of things because there's a couple big ticket items around the league that haven't been moved. People are waiting on. We'll see what happens. The Patriots came out a couple of days ago. We're like sale. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But I hear you, Anthony Tony. I definitely do. But it's just like, for me at least, just like looking at the immediate picture, like a trade thing, if it happens, is cool, whatever. But you can't be picky when you're like on this type of slide. Like it's just a little bit different. Like if you were taking care of business, that's a whole different conversation, at least to me. I think this Omer is talking about what I was talking about a little while ago, just with like, I think he can still do it. It's just I'm trying to understand the why as to why he doesn't do it as much, because we've seen him do it at times. Like he got down a couple times late in this game. It's just, at times, and again, it goes into that long list of questions we have about why they do a lot of the stuff that they do on offense. We all have a short list of, but why? Like but why? I think one of the names he said was for Jeremy Grant. Yeah, I mean, look, I would just wait till, Rui get back and see what life looks like. Wait till TB gets back, see what life looks like, and go from there. Some other ones. Appreciate it, Maya. Man. Trying to score a little bit. Oh, man, Anthony Tony, I see you out here, though. With the plug. See, I couldn't get the plug out right today. So we appreciate you. I stumbled over the plug. But clearly you got that right. In terms of the plug, I'm not endorsing what was said. But yeah, now we appreciate you guys. If y'all have nothing else for us, y'all enjoy the next couple of days. They'll take a couple of deep breaths. You got Utah coming into Capital One on Saturday. And, Washington's going to tell us how they want the night to go. We'll find out from the opening tip. What I do know, this type of performance, there's no walking Utah back down with this type of performance. That's what I do know for sure. Donovan, Rudy, Joe, and company ain't having all that at all. And the other thing is, they got some size over there. You got Rudy, you got Whiteside coming off the bench. So, Gaff, Trez, get your rest of heavy lifting come Saturday. Like for sure. But y'all have a good evening. For Raymond and myself, we will see you guys very, very soon.